Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, let's get me back. Let's get rid of that. So, go into Blender and let's get making. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete everything. And then I'm going to add a curved circle. And I'm going to set this one's radius to 3. It's going to be the inside. Ooh, so on cap locks. Inside. I'm going to make a new collection as well. I'm going to call this my reference collection. This is going in there. Next thing I'm going to do is just add another circle. I'm going to set this to 6. And I'm going to call this outside. I'm actually going to turn screencast keys on for you as well, so you guys can see what I'm doing. My camera is in the way, so I will sort that out. Just need to remember my camera's down there now. Okay, so I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to select this, Shift S, cursor is selected, come out of edit mode, and set the origin to the 3D cursor. And I don't need to be in edit mode. So cursor back to world origin, and now I'm going to add empty plane axis. I'm going to give this a follow path on the outside circle. And I'm going to keyframe this at 0 here. I'm going to come in and I'm going to keyframe its rotation at 0. I'm going to go to 250, and on the Z I'm going to give it a 360-degree rotation, keyframe that. Come into here and give it a 100 rotation and keyframe that. Then I'm going to come into this and I'm going to add some constraints to this. So I'm going to copy a location of the empty on the Y and the Z, and I'm going to copy rotation of the empty as well. Now, when I press play, you should get this. Really good. It's going to be our little reference image. So let's just make this a bit more of a reference. Let's come into geometry nodes. Let's just extend this out. And let's get me a join geometry. And let's do a curve to points. From here, let's go to an instance on points. And then let's go into that. Then I'm just going to instance a UV sphere on these points. I'm going to give it a radius of 0.19. Give it smaller. Also going to reduce this count to 8. What you want is the balls to have like one exactly opposite. You don't want uneven amount of balls. Okay, so now it should look a bit more like this. Amazing. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back into layout mode, layout, and we're going to start making a torus. So in collection, add a torus, press C, and then we're going to wireframe, scale out. So this part here, this line is going to be the inner wall of our pan that holds all these. So I'm going to select that out there. And I'm just going to go into edit mode, press W once, and select all the vertexes, holding shift in case I forget. Select all of these. I'm just going to delete them. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to press up here, Alt left click there, and press F just to make a face. I'm going to come, yep. Okay. Now I'm going to grab it, see, go down. The reason why I've kind of moved it a little bit is I don't want the pan to be going all the way to the bottom. So next thing I'm going to do is go back into edit mode. I'm actually going to alt left click up here and select this, press Y. And then I'm going to extrude it down on Z. Then we're going to go manually out of bevel to this. So we're going to come here, loop cut, select back up here. What we want is, that's actually not a loop cut on the right bit. My bad. So we're going to loop cut here. Should be. Oh my days. There. Right. Grab it. Move it down. A bit further down. Just gonna grab the inner one, scale it in a bit. Scale it in a bit more. Then I'm just going to select this top one, Control B, add a bit of bevel on the top there. Easy. Now I'm just going to select everything, subdivide it once. And then what we actually need to do is just go and sort of fix these a little bit. So let's grab this one. Let's grab this one. Let's make it more round actually. Scale that in a bit. We're not too bothered about the bottom because we won't really see it. So we can just leave it like that. Okay. And let's get off this extra. Oh, and the next thing we need to do is we need to just come in here, grab this. We can probably bevel this a bit more actually. And then just F. So press F to select it all, cut it over. You should end up with something that looks a little bit like this. So I don't mean to subdivide that. So let's put this back to frame 0. We can actually hide this torus now. I'm going to go make a new collection. This is just going to be called Boole Cylinder. Ooh. I'm going to call this path. Right, so now what we need to do is come into this Boole cylinder. We need to start making an object that we're going to boolean out of that pan for them all to sit in. So if we go cylinder, okay, right. This. Move this to -6. Oh, Y, -6 on Y. Put it back like this. And I notice it's 0.571. Amazing. So now I'm just going to rotate it a bit more. Now I'm going to move it on Y. And just pop it there. Now I'm going to go into edit mode. Make sure I'm selecting vertex. Just select all these. And then in edit mode, I'm just going to grab them, move them on Y all the way down to about here. Maybe just a little bit more. Cool. Right. Just going to hide this reference collection right now. Work on this. So we need to get rid of this face. It's going to cause us some issues. We also need to get rid of this face. And let's get out of edit mode. Right, now we're going to add a UV sphere. I'm just going to make this 0.571 as well. And give this a Y location of -6. And just hide the cylinder while I work on this. So now if I go in and I edit, and then I select all the faces, I'm just going to change my selection mode. Turn my on, there we go. Make sure I select all of these properly. I'm not an X-ray. There we go. And just delete these. Amazing. And then unhide the cylinder, select it. I'm just going to join these. You can Control J or you can just press it. Then go back into edit mode, click vertexes, and all of these are pretty lined up, so there's no need to worry. And just select all these, press M, merge them by distance, and if you want, you can play with it. And just make sure that they're merging properly. So that should be good. Okay. And one last thing to do is get out of edit mode and just set the origin of this to the 3D cursor so it's right in the middle. And then what we'll do is we'll add a Boolean player mirror, a mirror modifier. We're going to mirror this on Z, get rid of the X, and then we can just apply it. Come in here, select all of these, and merge by distance. Good to go. They are a little bit out of whack, but honestly, it doesn't matter. You're not going to notice it for what we need it for. Should be good to go. And last thing, shade smooth. Okay, so we've got the reference and we've got the pan. Now, one thing about all of these, because I've used this many, these are all exactly on a 22.5 degree angle from each other. So all I actually need to do is apply this Boolean to this and delete it, and then rotate this 22.5 degrees. And you'll see that it all works out. So let's just move this here. Click on the pan, add a modifier, Boolean. Let's set it to the cylinder. And you'll see if I get rid of the cylinder, it's there. The ball fits very nice and snug. Cool. We'll apply that. And if I press play, what you'll notice is this ball here just moves in a straight line. So we're going to have them all do that. So let's get out of X-ray mode. Click this. R2 2.5. And then click the pan again. Click this R. Back the pan. Just do this a bunch of times. You're going to need to do it about 8. You can make all of these cylinders into a big collection. Oh no. Have you seen my issue? Oops, I got cocky. So make sure that you press Z and you're like this, so that when you do rotate it, it's only on the 2 axes. But yeah, that's a really key point. You want to make sure that you're only rotating these around the Z. You don't want any kind of X or Y rotation in there. And then make sure you're on pan. I could probably make a bit of code that does this for people, by the way. Just because this bit is long. Add modifier. We're only going to need a few more of these. Gonna go there. Is it gonna need that one? Amazing. Now look at that. So now we need to go and make these balls and make them actually move, because we're not going to use the reference balls. But we're just not, because we can't. It's not easy to make them rotate in the way that we want them to. It's just a lot easier to do this. So we can get rid of this cylinder. You can just delete it and the ball cylinder. We can hide the pan. Just have the sphere. What we're going to do is we're going to add a UV sphere. And because we made it 0.571, we can now make this 0.57. It's going to be almost exactly the right size for that. Nice. So now we've got that done. Probably want to shades move this ball. Just come in here, and in the sphere thing, add a nerves path. And let's just rotate this around C by 90. And then let's make this 12. No, 6, I think. 3? 3. Yeah. Okay, now grab the sphere, add a modifier, and add no modifier. Constraint, follow path, NURBS path, keyframe it here at 0, 125 frames because that's halfway. Go here, just do minus 100. So another keyframe. Come back to 250, 0. And then come into the rotations and keyframe there. And I believe we want this to rotate on the X. So this one here should be 360. I'm just going to add a quick material to this, just so I can see it. Okay, yeah, that's rotating the wrong way. Sorry. This one. So here we need to be at 720. Needs to do 2 full rotations. And then here it needs to be keyframed at 0. So what you want it to do is you want it to do 720 degrees everywhere you go. And then just select all these keyframes, by the way. and turn it to a Bezier interpolation mode. And the ball actually sits really nicely on it. You don't really need to do much more. You could go into the graph editor and mess around, but it's not needed. So at this point, we don't really need the references. What we need to do is grab these. We probably actually want to start working on the ball material now properly. So if we go into edit mode and we select faces, select these, or should we start it facing upwards? We'll start facing upwards. We're going to assign this material 01, down, select all of these, and assign it 02. So this can just be a base color, and this can be like a glass material. So in the glass, let's just go in the shading and get rid of this. Ooh, Blender's having a bit of a panic. Oh, could be good to make sure I'm in cycles. Right. Now let's grab this whole ball. Let's add a bit of a solidify. A bit of a solidify. Come in, I'm going to grab this edge loop. I'm going to face it. Put a face in there. Now, next thing I'm going to do is add like maybe a small little cube or something inside it. So let's get another UV sphere. Make it really small. Yeah. And while we're here, let's just come in here, assign that mission. Cool. Right, now we need to work on this glass a bit more. I think I need this second one, to be honest. Probably just live with the first. I mean, yeah, that kind of works. Maybe move this back a bit. looks a little bit weird. What did I do for this one? It's just a principle, okay. Okay. So what I've done in this one is I've gone in and added like a glass texture. Put the transmission way up. So just go and bang your transmission on to 1. Your alpha's on 1. And then in your roughness, put a color ramp and a noise texture node. And then mess around with the noise texture a little bit. Bring the scale down. And what you're looking for is this kind of, do you see like here where it's a bit less rough? You basically don't want a complete roughness texture over all the glass. You just want it to be a small amount. And we end up with this. Should start looking pretty good once we've got everything sorted. So let's go into the base color here. Let's make this a nice dark blue. Probably pull this roughness down. Maybe give it a bit more of a metallic look to it. A shiny metallic look. Cool. Right, now we're going to just take the sphere. Put them all in this. And then all you want to do is select the NURBS path when you duplicate it. Rotate this 22.5. Oh, if it would let me. Around Z. Ooh, it's not working. Oh, it's because I'm in edit mode. So let's get rid of that. And let's get out of edit mode. Duplicate this collection. Do that bunch. You can use arrays and stuff like that. If you want, feel free. I just don't right now. Just duplicating. Amazing. Okay, now, because of the scales that we've all chose here, this sphere, we just want to move everything. So I'm going to graph it there. We just want to take this one, move everything 16 frames forward. So if we grab everything, and we just move it 16 frames, and then we do the same for this one. So we don't want to be on 16, we want to be on 32 now. Same with this one. Go to 48. 48 at 12, 50, 60. 72. This one here, 72 add 12 is 84. And then 96. All right. And we might be a little bit off, which it does look like we are. So let's see where this is why we made the reference circle. This one, isn't it? And this one. So where am I on this one? 60. So what was this frame before? 48 add 12. For some reason I started adding 12. It's 16 I need to add. So let's hide this reference frame. Let's make sure I haven't screwed that up for all of them. 16, 32, 48. 48 add 16 would go to 54, 64. Yeah, that was my mistake. 64 add 16 would go to 70, 80. 96. 96 add 16. 102. 112. Let's go on a timeline. Should I know this? And if I just make this one here about 370. Yep. It's really that simple. What you could do if you really wanted, you could take this first one. You could actually add another one. So 250 would go to 250 add 125, 375. You could just take this one. this one 500. So you could do this and have it go another loop around if you wanted. You just come in here and find what this one's at. So 363. 12, stuff like that. You do the math and add it on. You could also just delete them. So you could take you could just get rid of them like that. Get rid of all these extra collections. And just duplicate the collection again. Yeah, why? Yeah, and then we would just go in and $96. Will that be 1200? Just move that forward one. Seems to be sort of. It's like ever so slightly breaking it at one. Oh, that's so much better. Okay. Now we get our pan and our references. We can hide the references. We don't need them. Should end up with, by this point, is something that looks a little bit like this. Now I'm going to take this pan, shade smooth it. Okay, shade all smooth. And probably want to try and get rid of this sort of look. So let's scale it in a bit. And then let's select this one. Bit of a better look. Right. Now we need to go and pretty much everything. Because what we need to do is start like coloring all of this. So if we select it all, we call this base. And then to be honest, all I really want to do is give it some like flair of gold. Probably get all of these. So I'm just going to select all of these. And using control, I'm just going to deselect the ones I don't want. So I don't want any of these. Ooh. What I want is for that upper bevel to be gold. Probably get this as well. Okay, I want to make that gold. I want to try and select this face as well. Yeah. And I think that will probably do, to be honest. I don't think we need to really have much more gold on it. The only other thing I would maybe do is... Oop. How did that do that? Select like around. Ah, you learn something new every day. So we can probably just do this in here. For the base, since the balls are blue, the base is going to be like blue to match. Probably change the ball color, to be honest. Give it like a metallic color, bring the roughness down. Just a little. Gonna keep its IOR at 1.5. And then in the gold, we'll just go do the same thing. We'll make it yellow, make it really metallic, bring its roughness down. Now what we'll do actually is we'll click the ball. All of these will have their own. So let's select all of these. Okay. And I don't think I want this to be a blue. This might be more of a purple, dark purple. The emission color is teal. How does that work? Amazing. Let's get this thing to run a bit nicer. Well, you know what it is with these balls. Just gonna make that base color look gold. Cool. Right. Now we're gonna use this as our main one, but you'll notice when I put the camera in, oh, we need to add an empty. So let's add an empty to the middle. And let's add a camera. Let's add another Bezier circle. Let's bang this out a bit. Bring this up. It should not be in there. Let's make a world collection. Let's grab that. circle. And then let's have it also track to empty 001. I believe, by the way, we need to go frame 630. Yes. Okay. But yeah, let's have this. Let's look at this camera. See, we can still see some other stuff. We should probably zoom this out a bit more as well, so you can see the full thing. Keep it up a bit. Yeah. So if you've seen the camera, we've got like this empty space behind. So let's get rid of all of that. The way we're going to do that is I'm just going to add anything. I'm going to go into geometry nodes once I've added that plane. Click new. I'm going to get rid of this. Put a grid. No, sorry, I don't want a grid. Sorry, I didn't know what I was doing there. So before I do anything, I'm just going to grab all of these and merge these at the center. And then I am going to put all of this stuff minus the reference into a new collection. Or I can just put the pan into all spheres. And I'm going to grab this. I'm going to instance on points. And then set position. See, we got that. So if we make this 5 times smaller, 0.2. Let's duplicate this. And let's make this 5 times bigger, so 5. Join geometry. That was actually quite good, wasn't it, for a guess? No. Now, if we view this through the camera, there's nothing. Amazing. So let's do one more of these. Let's make it 5 times smaller than that. 20 divided by 5 is 4, so 0.04. And then what we can actually do is we can just go and rotate all of these. Ooh. So let's add a rotate instances. This is the big one, isn't it? Yeah. So let's have this do minus 90. Then the one that we modeled everything off will be the normal one. So we want this to be at 90. And then we'll have this be 180. Amazing. Should not have ran that with cycles running. Yeah. So there we go. And obviously you can do things like if we go into blend kit, we can just add a really nice HDRI for free. Blender kit, sorry. Maybe something like this, a bit of a dark one. Probably a bit too dark. Yeah, that'll probably do. And if you really want, you can go into this world, add a camera. Let's put this to 0. Go to the last frame at minus 100. Set that keyframe. And then the camera will also move. And we'll have a really nice thing. You can also do things like go into the camera, add a depth of field, put on this empty, maybe bring the f-stop down a bit, and then render that. Oh, and my bad. Rendered it, but you should actually really, where is it? You need high V's in the render as well. Oop, don't want to render that animation. There you go. Obviously mess around with the materials and stuff. I've done this quite quickly for the tutorial. But yeah, I hope you like it and enjoy. I'll show you what the rendered outcome looked like really quickly. So this is what the version I had rendered out to look like. I obviously didn't do the extras because I only just learned that during this tutorial. So there you go. But yeah, I don't know why that's so pixelated right now. Yeah, I'm going to jump off for a bit. So thank you very much for watching. If any